This is Sarah Young riding Equador MW in the 3-star long at Puanui International Horse Trials 2019. Playing now. Oh, I love a black horse. Very striking. I like that rhythm leaving the start box, really nice. Beautiful spot and partnership into fence 1, lovely way to start.
Now burning it up to fence 2, which is lovely. Let's pause that for a minute because
Pause at 0:33.
that was very interesting. He had a fabulous, obviously getting on with the job, rhythm down there, and then it's a bit of a right angle turn into what is a very, very kind faced fence. And there'd be the sort of time where I would bring my horse's balance up, try and get him together enough for the corner, but I wouldn't be worrying about whether I was on the right stride or not. I wouldn't be taking quite such a pull, unless, of course, I felt he was boring off with me. I felt you had a brilliant rhythm there, and then a little bit destroyed it in that last couple of strides, but I haven't walked that course.
I think it's useful actually using, when you have a right angle coming into the fence, using that corner as somewhere to balance and half halt and then come off that corner and keep moving to the fence, provided there's not a tricky part B or C. Press play again.
There's still that lovely rhythm.
Oh, that's lovely. Beautiful.
Lovely. That's just how to gallop to a fence.
Really well ridden, the first combination.
He's dead keen. I mean, she has to have something to say, oh, not too fast. But he listens beautifully.
I love that you wait for that little stride into the second combination. Just
It doesn't get much better than that. Well done. Big ditch. Let's go. Well done. Beautifully ridden. This is really good.
Really
You're
good.
really not wasting time at all. It was into that second fence, possibly. There's a second wasted. Oh, what a fun jump.
coming into the water.
Love to see that again.
All right, we're just going to play that water again, and we're starting from 139
You're having to really
and pausing
ride
at
him.
144.
I have this feeling that water is blind. The horse doesn't know it's there. He's come round through the brush to the log, and he's backed up in that second that he saw the water, and you've said, come on, it's 2 strides here, you must make it 2. I would be very fascinated to have walked that distance, because for me, I would almost want to come in a smaller canter and make my turn a little bit tighter, not so that he doesn't see the first fence, but just economic, and use that smaller canter and be very, very happy if, as he backed up and saw the water, if he wanted to throw in another stride, so long as I stayed behind him, and then he'd pop over the log and boom, boom, boom through the water. I think it's just worth remembering that they haven't walked the course, and maybe it measured 12 yards in there and he sucked back and you really had to say go. Just a tiny smaller stride and a tiny bit tighter turn, and I think you might have easily got 3 strides in there and had him much more confident. But he was good. He did go when you asked.
He's brave. I like him a lot. Playing again at 145. You do ride him well, you know. You still said you've got to go, which we've got to say sometimes when we're in the moment. Coming to downhill corners.
Very nice approach, very good body balance of yours. And well done. You're very easy to get pulled forward, especially by him when he says, yeah, give me my mouth, and you didn't.
Oh, lovely over the white corner as well.
Classy stuff, this. Beautiful, lovely coming out of your
Really
rhythm.
good.
Really lovely.
You can almost, in the middle of the jump over here as well, just click in the air I'm pausing at 2:29. We've just watched two straightforward fences that you did beautifully.
Out of a lovely rhythm.
Lovely rhythm. And I would say once your horse has taken off and you're in the air and you're landing, just go and just ask him to land and open up. So he lands and he knows he's got a purpose. He's got to keep going and help.
Yes, if you can always imagine that first stride wants to be a couple of inches longer than they might naturally make it without you throwing them off balance. I so agree with you, just a little in the air and they land and whoomph, they go. And it just, if you think about it, it can pick up a second offence doing that. And maybe you can do that at 15 or 20 offences of 30. And it's a good way to help get the time, because as you get up the ladder in this game, time becomes more and more crucial.
Playing again at 2:29. Oh, just love you two together. It is gorgeous. Downhill houses. Ooh, and we're just going to pause there at 2:39. And I just feel he's slightly getting a little bit flatter in his jump. And I wonder if he's feeling a little strong in the hand, or if he's a little tired, that perhaps when they're a bit tired, you're going to have to go against what's natural and use a bit more leg, even if they are running, because I feel his back end is getting further away from his front end. So therefore, just remember, in between the fences, gather him up. Your legs control the hind legs, so your hands control the front legs. So really make sure those hind legs are working and help him push up and not across.
Just before you resume again, my feeling at watching that was to remember Mark Phillips saying, keep putting pennies in the slot, because one day when you take them out, you want there to be plenty there. And I felt you took a penny out there. You asked him to be brave when he wasn't really quite sure where he was going or where the landing of the drop to part B was. So that was one of the places where you use one of the pennies that you pile into the slot machine, of pennies of confidence. And I just wonder, the approach looks very difficult to get him up together because it looks like it's uphill. But those fences riding uphill, you've got to ride, and Lissa's so right, you've got to ride with your leg, not off a long flat stride. You want to run to the bottom of the fences that are uphill so that they really get up in the air. You don't really want to stand off them. Let's watch it one more time and then keep going.
So we're going to play that again at 2 minutes 34. Play. Whoa, and hold. Yeah, see?
Clever though, isn't he?
It's
Great
brilliant.
footwork. Really
and you look
good.
so confident together.
He
You've got to
does.
remember, we are nitpicking here. It's a bloody good picture. And a really
I
nice
love
round.
the way you rode that off that turn. Now, think about fence 2. Could you have ever ridden fence 2 like that? Maybe not, because he wasn't warmed up and going by then.
Oh, I'm just going to
Yeah,
pause
you're
at
great at that.
2:55. That, for me, was one of your best jumps coming down over that trachena. I love your feel you have with your horse's brain and mouth. You turn the corner and you see this beautiful spot and you ask him to go whilst lengthening your rein, which means, and you're remembering your legs here, so he has the power in the hind end and he is allowed to lengthen his neck to use his balance. The neck is always a fifth leg, and you just come around that absolutely world class. I think that's beautiful.
I so agree. Very rarely do you see people allowing their horses to lower their head if they want to. And very often if there's a ditch, remembering that they look with the top half of their eye when there's something close vision to them, they do take the rein out of your hand. A lot of people then get pulled forward when that happens, and you just allowed the rein through the hand, let him peep at the ditch, kept on riding, sat behind him. You could not have done that better.
That was awesome. Awesome. Playing at 2:55. Ooh. Well done. Well recovered, actually. Let's just watch that again. We're going to play from 2:55. So here, just pausing. So you've just jumped over that first log before your skinny two logs. This is where I would almost want you guys to be a bit more together, a little flat over that first one, and then because he took a big stride over it and you felt you had to get him back together between for butts B and C, you didn't let him finish his jump and you held onto the rein, which is that feeling where he chucks his head. And you don't want that communication misprint. You want to tell him that you have a part B and C way before you take off. He needs to know what's coming up. and your conversation starts by you balancing him before the fence and getting him prepared that something's happening on landing, so it's not a shock for either of you. But you do recover really, really well. Pressing play at 3:01. Yeah, well done. Yeah, exactly how you want to recover from a minor issue.
Beautiful rhythm again, and he's listening to you, but only just.
He's quite running away with you now. I wonder...
in a single rein gag, I think, isn't he? It'd be interesting to look at his bitting.
I wish we could see this ditch. I presume it's a ditch.
Oh, what a good horse. Well done. He sat really well. Let him get to the bottom and come up under it. I sort of feel he relies on your hand and needs the security of your hand, but he's not mad about what he's got on.
Yeah, when he gets... Let's just pause there. We're just at 3:46. And we're just going to watch him over that table again. This is where, I think you use some pennies from your stockpile, as Mum would call it. And he's just that little bit flat. As Mum says, I think he's resenting the bit when he's tired. Now, I had a horse like this. He was absolutely fantastic in a gag until the last minute or so. And it was just a bit touch and go that last minute. I wonder if there's a bit of an indirect turn. He's not quite feeling it as a balancing tool anymore and just as a bit of a punishment. This is all query and just things to think about, because we might be barking up the wrong tree. You're the one who can feel, you're the one who's on top. Let's play at 3:43 and watch him over this boxer. It's just that little bit flat. It just feels like, although you're getting a longer stride and you're getting faster, which is perfect, I would want more it coming from the back end, not coming from under your saddle, if that makes sense. I want him powering through on each stride, pushing the front end up rather than the front end pulling the back end down.
He's a goey horse, though, isn't
lovely.
He is lovely, but I'm just querying how confident he is in the bit.
Play at 3:45. Was this the end? Through the finish flags. Oh, Sarah, that was an awesome round. I mean, one of the nicest rounds we've watched, actually. You've got such a partnership together. You have such a natural feel. It's beautiful to watch. And he loves you. He really, really does. I think there's little things to work on. I think you can work on cutting some tighter lines, especially at the beginning, and allowing him to jump out of that really fantastic rhythm you had, rather than breaking it up a little bit at the beginning. And then as he gets more tired at the end, using more leg, which feels counterproductive, just to help him bunch together and keep the power going up rather than down and across.
I have nothing to add, Sarah. I just really liked what I saw. He may not be a thoroughbred, but he sure as heck looks like a thoroughbred, and he's quick thinking, quick with his feet. Not so easy to keep together because he's not so easy in the mouth. Whether there's something that he'd like more than what he's got in, I don't know. But I just could not congratulate you more. I think you do a wonderful job, and I think you've got a cracking nice horse there. Well done.